How's it going, everybody? My name's Release Radar, and we have another controller to review today that was sent to me for free, so full disclaimer there. This is the Beitong Zeus 2 game controller. So, let's get into it. So this just arrived at my doorstep, and I have some free time right now, so I'm just going to go ahead. I already cut the tape at the bottom, take the top off, and you were immediately greeted by the face of the controller. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that out. Wow, that is in there very securely, so good job on the packaging. And okay, the joysticks feel nice, the shoulders feel nice, triggers feel nice. The clickiness on the joysticks is also nice. The D-pad has some really nice click to it. Whoa. Y'all, listen to this. The ABXY, I'm spamming the A button right now, it sounds like a mouse click. That is interesting. Those buttons are very clicky. Okay, there's an AI button. I don't know what that does. We'll figure that out later on in the video. There's also extra buttons on the bottom here. There's FN profile. There's an auxiliary out, which is nice to see. And I have no idea what that button does. Okay, so I'm editing this video now, and I now know what all of the buttons on the controller do. So first, there's the profile button down here. I know it's not first numerically, but to go through that, and sorry about the beeping. It keeps disconnecting and reconnecting from my computer for some reason. But the profile button changes the color of the RGB. And because the little transmitter thing that this thing comes with keeps disconnecting and reconnecting from my PC, as an editing note, I would recommend using this wired. I don't know if it's my PC that's the problem or if it's this thing, but I just want to really quickly just turn it off and go through everything else. So the FN button right here, you can use to basically turn it from a controller to a mouse. And you can use this joystick right here, so the right joystick to go around, and then A to right click and B to left click on things. And then this button down here, the switch, turns it into a gyroscope, which you can use to, use your mouse pointer with a gyroscope or something like that. So it's pretty cool. And that's what all of those extra buttons do. And then this AI button is actually programmable, and you can make it do pretty much whatever you want. So I'm going to pass it back to my past self to continue to go through the first impressions of this controller. It also has back buttons, as you can see here. And then at the top, there's two extra buttons up here. Okay. That is interesting. The grip feels really nice in the hands. So let's go ahead and dig further into this box. I'm going to set the controller. I'll keep it in frame, but I'm just going to set it to the side real quick. We're going to lift this up and okay. All right. I did not expect to see that. You got a user manual as well as just some more documentation right here. I'm going to set that to the side. I have absolutely no idea. Okay, no, these are just different AXBY buttons right here. This isn't in English, so I don't know what this says. And then here in the box, you have different D-pad faces, different ABXY faces, and different textures for your joysticks, and a USB-C cable. Okay, that is interesting. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at all of this right here. Get this off. Oh, these aren't just new faces. These are just whole new joysticks. So if you didn't like the texture on the ones that you have, you can just straight up swap them out. So I wonder, can you just like twist it? And you can just lift straight up and it just comes off. Look at that. Just lift straight up and it just comes off. That is so incredibly easy to do. And then you just snap it in. I assume these are Hall Effects joysticks, but I'm not entirely sure. I will verify that in the description below. The AI button, I'm not entirely sure what that does. The start and select feels good. I'm not entirely sure what these extra buttons at the top do, though. But overall, the controller feels really, really nice to hold. So the process of swapping out the joysticks is super simple. You just pop them off, grab the one you want instead, and just clip it on. And then there you go. The different one is on. I actually kind of like this one more. So that is really cool. I'm going to try to keep this all together in the box so I don't lose anything. But yeah, that is really cool. Okay, so how do you take the face button off? Is that what this little thing right here is for? Okay, so inside of that box is this. So maybe this is just like if you wanted higher facing ABXY or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, but I'll keep that in the box. Or maybe that's just the standard height, the Nintendo Switch layout or something. I think that is the Nintendo Switch layout, actually. So this is AXBY. So this is a spare. Oh, this feels more like traditional button presses compared to that. Interesting. Okay. Then what the heck is this? This is another standard AXBY. These feel like way more traditional. Okay, so you have different travels for the buttons because that feels more like a traditional controller, while this feels like a mouse. I'm just not entirely sure how you take them off. Okay, so I'm about to connect this thing to my computer, and I figured it out, and obviously this just should have been pretty obvious to me, but the faceplate just pops off like that, super simple, and then from there you can probably get your buttons out as well as your D-pad. So this is probably how you make all of those other finer adjustments to the controller. So it looks like for the buttons, you just hold that down and they just pop out. I don't want to break anything. I'm a little nervous because I've never done like a button swap. But also in here, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but there's a little dongle, which I assume if I can get it out, you use, okay, I just peeled plastic off of it. That helps. I assume you use the get out of the box. Oh my gosh, I'm a professional. You use the dongle to probably connect the controller wirelessly to whatever device you're going to use it on. So I'm going to plug this into my computer, and maybe it comes with software or something. I'm not entirely sure. And then before I do that, though, I want to see if I can just easily snap the D-pad off. Ooh, I don't want to break anything. Because you have different D-pad faces. Like you have one of these. If this is, whoa, this is just straight up made out of metal. Holy crap, it's kind of heavy. Like, it's not super heavy, but it has weight to it. Okay. I see you. I see you. This thing is pretty cool for a controller. There's a lot of customization you can do here. So I'm going to try to get it plugged into my computer and just see if I can't. Oh, I didn't mention this, by the way. You can change the travel distance on the triggers by pulling these little switches down here. So that's a full press right there, and then you switch it down, and that's kind of like a half press right there. And you can do that on both sides. Okay, so I've spent an additional day with this controller at this point, and I understand how to do everything there is to do. So we're going to walk through all that really quick, and then we're going to hop into a game. So the first thing you want to do to change anything on this controller is pop off the faceplate. Once the faceplate is off, and you don't even have to take the faceplate off to change out your joysticks, you can literally just lift up, and then they pop off, and they clip on with these little clips. So set those to the side. For the D-pad, you literally just grab, and the top of it might be a little hard to disconnect. And just like that, you have removed your D-pad, which I have already changed. Now, I liked the buttons that came on this controller already, but to change those out, you just pull this back, and just like that, your buttons come off, and then you can change these for whatever else you would want to in the box. And that is how you change everything on this controller. So for the D-pad, you just grab and lift up. Same with the joysticks. And then for the buttons, you just pull this little tab right here back, and you can get to the buttons. So I'm going to put this thing back together, and then we can play some Forza Horizon 5 or maybe a different game. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so I've gone ahead and loaded into Forza Horizon 5, and you can see the controller as well as my actual gameplay. And by the way, the LEDs flash. I don't know if it's... Oh, okay, it just disconnected and reconnected. That's happened a couple times today. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm going to be fully transparent in this video. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. So for the sake of the gameplay, I'm just going to plug it directly into my computer and not even use the Bluetooth adapter because that thing seems to be pretty spotty. But now that we're directly plugged into my computer, we should be fine here now. And so the controller's LEDs flash with, I'm not sure if it's the vibration or the sound of the game that you're playing, but it's kind of a cool touch. I'm not very good at driving games, by the way, but I just wanted to load into this and just drive around. I don't know why I keep spawning in like this desert area every single time I play this game. But here we are. This looks like a pretty straight road, maybe? Oh, yeah. We can fly through here. I mean, it's a nice controller. And I don't know how much it is exactly. I'll put the price up on screen right now, and it will also be in the description of this video with a link to the controller. And so overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't really understand why it keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. I don't know if that's a problem, as I said earlier in the video, with my computer, or if it's the controller itself. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this thing. It's, you know, I got it for free, full transparency, but I am allowed to speak my thoughts. And because of the disconnect issue, you know, I don't know if I would recommend buying it if you're not going to be able to plug it directly into your computer or to your console. So overall, I think this thing feels great. In fact, I'm just going to show you guys this really quickly. If I change my my scene here real quick, if I put the Manba controller that was sent to me a couple weeks ago right next to it, you can notice that this controller is actually quite a bit larger. It's just a decent amount larger than the Manba controller. You can see it's a little taller as well. And so for my big hands, because of that, I actually kind of prefer the feel of this controller compared to the Manba controller. And that's just because I have big hands. It's nothing against this controller. I still think this controller is pretty cool as well. But This one doesn't have the screen in the middle of it, which I will admit, it's kind of just a gimmick. I haven't ever used the screen on this when actually using this controller. Now, this controller doesn't have an ability to connect via Bluetooth with an adapter unless you have a Bluetooth chip in your computer, which I don't. So because of that, I can't wirelessly use this with my computer, which is why I had this cable on standby. But even though this controller comes with an adapter, the adapter doesn't seem to be that great. So I'm going to go back to the gameplay scene. Okay, yeah, the gameplay scene here. And we're just going to drive around for a little bit longer, but I will admit that I really like the feel of the tactile buttons, but you can change those out super simple, as I showed earlier in the video. So overall, if I was to give this controller a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, solely because of the Bluetooth issues that I'm having with it, I would say that this controller is a solid 6 out of 10. But if I was not having those Bluetooth connectivity issues, this controller would probably be a 8 out of 10 for me. But I'm just going to send it down this road. We burn out a little bit at the beginning there, so we're not going to get a top speed probably because of that. But we're just going to go flying down this track. I'm going 200. Okay. Maybe I'll get a new top speed. Probably not. Yeah, my top speed I think was like 225 there. But overall, whoa, okay. I'm pretty happy with this controller. I'm probably just going to plug it in because I have the ability to do so. And now that I'm able to like sit at my desk and play games and stuff, it's just comfortable for me to use a controller like this. I'm going to hand this one over to my girlfriend for her to use wired into the ROG Ally. But overall, this controller, because of the Bluetooth issues, I would say is a 6 out of 10. But if I wasn't having those connectivity problems, I would say that this thing is a solid 8 out of 10. And I'm still not entirely sure what these buttons up top do. I'm sure you can program them. But I will say overall, I'm pretty happy with this thing. So thank you again to Beitong for sending this out. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering your company name. But thank you guys so much for watching this controller review. This is the Zeus 2. Let me know what you think about it down in the description below. My name is Release Radar, and I will catch you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Peace.